The United States and Israel are planning to strike nuclear facilities in Iran in the coming weeks, the Daily Mail reports, citing senior politicians and military officials. The publication sources reported that the transfer of B-2 Spirit strategic bombers to the American-British military base on Diego Garcia Island in the Indian Ocean may indicate that the United States is preparing for a possible attack on Iran. Currently, the base houses 7 such aircraft, as well as tanker aircraft. Speaking about U.S. President Donald Trump's statement on the need to resume negotiations on the Republic's nuclear program, one of the publication's interlocutors said that resolving this issue is extremely important for stability throughout the world. This should have been done a long time ago. It's time to put an end to it, he added. Sources in Israeli diplomatic circles told the publication that the country's leadership views Trump's return to the White House as the best moment to resolve issues with Iran. On April 2, Pentagon Press Secretary Sean Parnell said that the United States is increasing its military presence in the Middle East. Parnell noted that the U.S. Secretary of Defense has directed the USS Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group to remain in the region in the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility. In addition, the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group has already begun deployment to the Western Pacific to maintain a military advantage in the Indo-Pacific region. On March 30, Trump said Iran would face military attack and secondary tariffs if it did not reach an agreement with the United States. He said Tehran and Washington were negotiating. In early March, the American president announced that he had sent a letter to the leadership of the Islamic Republic proposing negotiations over the nuclear program. The Axios portal wrote that the letter was tough. Trump proposed negotiations on a new nuclear deal and gave a 2-month deadline for them. According to the Daily Mail, the deadline will be at the end of May. On March 31, Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said his country would give a crushing response to atrocities and provocations by the United States and Israel. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi noted that Tehran does not intend to renew the nuclear deal in the form in which it was concluded in the past. Our nuclear situation has improved significantly, and we cannot return to the previous conditions, he said. Satellite images analyzed by the Associated Press show the deployment of at least 6 nuclear-capable B-2 Spirit bombers to Camp Thunder Bay on Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. The presence of the bombers comes as the United States continues an intense airstrike campaign targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels. The intense campaign of airstrikes in Yemen under U.S. President Donald Trump, targeting the rebels over their attacks on shipping in Mideast waters stemming from the Israel-Hamas war, has killed at least 65 people, according to casualty figures released by the Houthis. The campaign appears to show no signs of stopping as the Trump administration again linked their airstrikes on the Iranian-backed Houthis to an effort to pressure Iran over its rapidly advancing nuclear program. While so far giving no specifics about the campaign and its targets, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt put the overall number of strikes on Tuesday at more than 200. The B-2 has been used in combat to target the Houthis in the past. Tensions also remain high between Iran and the U.S. over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. The B-2 would be crucial in potentially bombing Iran's underground nuclear sites.
The United States has deployed 6 of its stealth B-2 Spirit bombers to Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Now, the U.S. isn't acknowledging this, but satellite photos analyzed by the Associated Press show the bombers are there. And there may be a couple reasons why they've been deployed. The first is that the United States is continuing this really intense airstrike campaign targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels. These B-2s have been used previously by the Biden administration to target underground tunnels used by the Houthis. Then there's Iran. The U.S. under Trump has been trying to negotiate with Iran over its rapidly advancing nuclear program. Trump even sent a letter to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but the Iranians wrote back saying that they did not want to have direct negotiations, but rather indirect talks with the United States. Indirect talks under the Biden administration, however, really didn't go anywhere. So the Trump administration might be using these B-2s, this deployment, as a means by which to push the Iranians towards negotiations. There's another thing as well. These B-2 bombers are the only aircraft capable of carrying these bombs known as massive ordnance penetrators. These bombs are huge and can burrow tens of meters underground and detonate. These would be the bombs that the United States would have to use if they were going to try to attack and destroy Iran's underground enrichment facilities with its atomic program. So this is a pretty tense moment in the Middle East already. Iran has said that any attack on its nuclear program could result in an all-out regional war. And with these B-2s here, that could be a sign that Trump is trying to push them to the negotiating table, or a warning that America is capable of striking these facilities even at the risk of an all-out regional war.
Asked whether a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia could be possible during Trump's planned trip there, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Putin doesn't have any such plans yet. According to Associated Press, he said that there is no clear understanding yet of the date and venue of a possible meeting between Putin and Trump, adding that we are continuing contacts with the Americans on various levels and various channels. Asked about the claim that Kirill Dmitriev, President Vladimir Putin's envoy for international cooperation, could visit Washington, Peskov said it's possible. Dmitriev, the head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund, took part in talks with U.S. officials in Riyadh. Commenting on the U.S. response to Moscow's complaints about Ukraine's purported violations of a halt on strikes against energy facilities, Peskov said there hasn't been any U.S. reaction yet. The Russian side is continuing to stick to this moratorium. While Kyiv violation of the moratorium, or effectively, Kyiv's failure to join the moratorium is continuing, he said. Asked about Trump's threat to impose new sanctions against Russia's oil sector, Peskov responded that, "We will continue our work with the Americans, we will patiently explain to them the real state of things and Kyiv's reluctance to do anything for peace." President Putin remains open to peace talks. President Putin remains open to a search for political and diplomatic methods of the Ukrainian settlement, he said. And the fact that Russia has joined the moratorium, the temporary moratorium on strikes against energy infrastructure facilities upon agreement with the U.S. side, is the clearest testimony to that. At the same time, we are witnessing an absolute unwillingness of the Kyiv regime to follow that path, Peskov said. The Kyiv regime isn't observing the temporary moratorium, it's continuing to launch daily strikes against our energy infrastructure.
Это чисто планы главы американского государства, это никак не связано с Путиным. У Путина пока таких планов нет, пока четкого понимания о дате и месте возможной встречи Путина и Трампа тоже нет, какой-то конкретики на этот счет я вам дать не могу. Мы продолжаем контакты на различных уровнях, по различным каналам с американцами. Российская сторона продолжает придерживаться этого моратория. Нарушение Киевом этого моратория, точнее, по сути, неприсоединение Киева к этому мораторию продолжается. Как уже было отмечено, мы это положение дел доводим до сведения американцев. Все, что было по линии МИДа, вам лучше обратиться в Министерство иностранных дел, но пока каких-то реакций на такое поведение киевского режима не было. Президент Путин остается открытым к мирным переговорам. Президент Путин остается открытым к поискам украинского урегулирования политико-дипломатическими методами. И то, что Россия по договоренностью с американской стороной заявила о том, что она присоединяется к мораторию, к временному мораторию на удары по объектам энергоинфраструктуры, это как раз является самым красноречивым свидетельством тому. Вместе с тем мы наблюдаем абсолютное нежелание киевского режима идти такой же дорогой. Киевский режим не соблюдает временный мораторий. Он продолжает ежедневно наносить удары по нашей энергетической инфраструктуре. Мы продолжим нашу работу с американцами, будем доводить до них терпеливо реальное положение дел и нежелание Киева что-то